simply, he was born to play this game.
He's a freak athletically. I mean, his athleticism is off the charts.
Just to finally get here and get it done, it's just really exciting just to bring this back for the community.
I told the parents, I said, listen, you might think I'm crazy, but I've seen a lot of NBA players. I'm around NBA players. Only the elite process the game the way he does.
He just keeps getting better.
I mean, this was my dream growing up my entire life, to be in the position I'm in right now, so I'm just really grateful to have such a support system from the state of Maine.
He's not the next Larry Bird, not the next, Kevin Durant. He's the first Cooper Flagg.
Hello and welcome to our CBS 13 special report. Cooper Flagg and the countdown to the NBA draft. Over the next half an hour, we're going to bring you special live coverage from New York City to his hometown of Newport. Plus, we're going to hear Cooper's story from the people who know him best. Really an historic journey, and we've got you covered tonight. Up in Newport, it's a community celebration. We have team coverage from Sam DeCoste. He's there live for us at that huge community gathering. CBS 13 Sports Director Dave Eads right there anchoring our coverage live in Brooklyn, where Flagg's NBA dreams are about to come true. And Julia Simone standing by live with Flagg fans in Lewiston, one of the many watch parties happening around the state. Cooper Flagg, of course, universally expected to be the top pick in this year's draft, now just about an hour away. While there was some debate over whether that would be true when he started his lone college year at Duke last fall, he destroyed any speculation with an historic season there. In fact, if you're a betting person, the sports books have some of the highest odds ever for Cooper to go #1 tonight, meaning they think it's virtually a done deal. Let's get right to it and take you live now to Brooklyn. Sports Director Dave Eads is live for us right there at the draft. And Dave, looks like the Barclays Center is starting to buzz.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. They opened the doors at 6:30 and the fans started pouring in. And I tell you what, a lot of the fans coming tonight are dressed to the nines. It's really quite a scene here at the Barclays Center. But as you mentioned, behind me is the big stage, and that's where Cooper Flagg will be going #1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks, barring a major trade. Now, as you mentioned, there are draft parties not only here in Brooklyn, but throughout the state of Maine. And yesterday, I had a chance to ask Cooper about the draft parties and what Mainers have meant to him throughout this amazing journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blessed, to have such a supportive, state and people back home that support me so much. So I'm just truly blessed, and, I'm grateful for everybody that's going to show up to, the parties and, celebrating my name.
All right, so coming up in really less than an hour from now, that big stage behind me, you will see Cooper Flagg get his Dallas Mavericks jersey as the #1 overall pick. And as we've been telling you all week long, he would be the second youngest player ever, behind only LeBron James, to be drafted first overall. Coming up in just a few minutes into our show, we'll hear from former Celtic great Brian Scalabrine, who really got Cooper on the national map. We'll tell you all about that story coming up in just a few minutes. But for now, reporting live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, I'm CBS 13's Dave Eads. Greg, back over to you.
All right, looking forward to your conversation with Scal coming up. Thanks, Dave. Hey, anyone who knows Cooper Flagg's story knows just how important Maine and his hometown of Newport have been to his journey. Right now, hundreds of people from around Newport are gathering at Hamlin Marina. It's the center of town there to celebrate this big night. CBS 13 Sam DeCoste joining us there live. And Sam, looks like it's going to be a great party up there tonight.
It's getting busy now. We're seeing people from all over central and northern Maine, from as far as Bangor and Augusta, and of course the Newport natives, just like Cooper Flagg. This is where he's from. And in just about an hour, they'll all be able to hear Flagg's name called in Brooklyn across the stage for the moment that Cooper Flagg becomes a pro in the NBA. And the stage here is set. We have those food trucks outside, including live music. You have cheerleaders, basketball hoops, and of course in this room that I'm standing in, you saw that giant TV screen. That's where all these fans will get to watch that moment when Flagg gets drafted. And Mainers in attendance today say that watching one of their own thrive has put their state on the map.
He puts it on there pretty well. It shows during his games. It's awesome. It's fun seeing him play and stuff like that.
He really just put it on the map. Like, nobody really knew anything, just a town in Maine. But then as soon as somebody just blows up and goes to the NBA, there's actually a lot of sights to see and stuff to do here.
And Newport fans have been cheering him on since his days at Nokomis High School, about 3 miles from where we're standing, all the way to Duke, and they will cheer him on for years to come in the NBA. And those people will cheer him on very soon when they all come into this room to watch him get drafted. Live in Newport, Sam DeCoste, CBS 13 News. Back to you, Greg.
Yeah, they won't have to wait long to hear his name, that's for sure, Sam. Thanks. Hey, that's not the only party happening in Newport to celebrate Cooper Flagg. Here's the gym at Nokomis Regional High School. It's going to be packed again tonight from 7 to 9 with members of the high school community there. In fact, Cooper and the Flaggs recently quietly came back to Newport for the high school graduation there so we could see some of his old friends. New Balance, which made a big splash signing Flagg to a major sponsorship deal, is hosting that event. We're going to be streaming all the watch parties on our websites as well. Hey, fans across Maine are fired up to show their support for Cooper Flagg and to catch the action. This has really become a statewide event, too. There's another watch party happening tonight, for example, in Lewiston. CBS 13's Julia Simone joins us live there at the Gridiron Pub. And Julia, what are the Flagg fans there saying?
Greg, fans here tell me they are excited and are anxiously awaiting for Cooper Flagg's name to be called. And while they wait, they will be able to enjoy some Cooper Flagg specials that are on the food and drink menu here at the Gridiron for the watch party. One Flagg fan tells us it's amazing to see a kid from Maine make it big.
I just think the whole kid from up north, going to be the #1 pick in the draft, I just think that's great because who would have thought that this kid from nowhere in Maine was going to make it big?
Ahead at 10 and 11, we will continue to have reaction from fans here at the Gridiron. Live in Lewiston, Julia Simone, CBS 13 News. Greg?
All right, Julia, thank you very much. Hey, we also learned one very interesting story recently about Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks, who now hold that #1 pick tonight. One of Cooper's longtime family friends, Josh Grant, who's also the current high school coach at Nokomis, told us he got a phone call from a Dallas Mavericks scout way back in late April. Again, that's well before the draft lottery when the Mavs only had about a 1.8% chance of winning that top pick. Now, here's what Coach Grant told me about that phone call he got from the Dallas Mavericks.
You know, at the time I was like, do they have a real, chance of drafting Cooper? And, and here we are. Obviously he hasn't played basketball here for a long time, so we were a little surprised that they were even reaching, this far back into his his high school career. So,
what was it they were trying to find out, and what were you telling them?
Yeah, just like character references, I think they were just double checking, the story that they've heard from everybody and making sure that, even as far back as his freshman year at high school, that those things were still consistent.
And you were saying no red flags in Cooper Flagg's past?
Yeah, no, of course not. No, he's as advertised. What everyone can see publicly is who he is. And I don't even think, even publicly, people understand how good of a teammate he was when he was here, how good of a person he was, how good of a student he was, how good of a school community member he was. Like, he's as advertised and then some.
I praise indeed. Hey, still to come in this special NBA draft edition of CBS 13 News at 7. From Newport to the NBA, the rise of Cooper Flagg.
I told the parents, I said, listen, you might think I'm crazy, but I've seen a lot of NBA players. I'm around NBA players. No one processes, only the elite process the game the way he does.
A former Boston Celtic and New England legend played an unexpected and early role in putting Cooper Flagg on the national radar. Dave has his story coming up. Welcome back. Hey, with all the rim-rocking dunks and screaming fans, easy to overlook Cooper Flagg's incredible stats he had. Here's Maine's basketball phenom by the numbers at Duke this past year. He's 6'7", 3/4 without shoes on, so just under 6'8", 6'9" with shoes. A trim 221 pounds at the combine, but he did put on weight since starting at Duke last year at only 17 years old, plus a 7-foot wingspan. That's what has NBA scouts drooling. Cooper led Duke in everything last year, averaging nearly 20 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, more than 4 assists a game, plus led in steals and blocks as well. Almost unheard of to lead a major team like Duke in everything. Don't forget, he was one of the youngest college players in the country.
This year's AP Men's College Basketball Player of the Year is Duke's Cooper Flagg.
And the awards piled up at Duke as well, with Cooper sweeping multiple National Player of the Year awards, including the Naismith, the Wooden, and right there, the AP Player of the Year awards.
It's a really prestigious award, so just an honor. I mean, all the credit to my teammates, coaches, my family that's in here, my family and friends. I wouldn't be here without them. These are the moments you dream about as a little kid. You know, this is the biggest stage of college basketball. So, I mean, I'm just trying to cherish these moments with my teammates that we have left. I mean, the road ends here.
Intensively competitive, but a great teammate. Brian Scalabrine, or Scal, as we mentioned, basketball fans, of course, know him here in New England, a New England star as a former player and the current broadcaster with the Celtics. Now, he first met Cooper Flagg back in middle school, and he swears he saw it right away. Let's check back in with Dave now live at the draft for more on that story, Dave.
Well, Greg, that is correct. You know, a lot of Mainers know the story, but when Cooper was 13 years old, Matt McKenzie, his longtime basketball trainer, who Cooper has had since he was in 4th grade, called Scal and said, "You got to take a look at this kid. He's off the charts." So Ralph and Kelly Flagg drove Cooper down to Boston to meet Brian Scalabrine. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I've always been super impressed with Cooper from the very start.
Former Celtics star and current C's broadcaster Brian Scalabrine was introduced to Cooper Flagg long before he became a household name.
Matt McKenzie, who's Cooper's trainer, called me up and said, "I got this kid who's 13 years old that can play with the University of Maine kids." And I'm like, there's no way.
But Scal became very intrigued.
Kelly and Ralph and Cooper, they drove all the way down, and you know it's not a short drive, right? I was blown away, blown away.
After watching a then 14-year-old perform magic on the hardwood, Scalabrine was convinced Cooper Flagg was in a league of his own.
I told the parents, I said, listen, you might think I'm crazy, but I've seen a lot of NBA players. I'm around NBA players. Only the elite process the game the way he does.
From there, Scal helped open some doors and eyes.
And right away I said, "What do you need from me?" And they're like, "He would love to go to Duke." Done. I'll call John Shire tomorrow. And I texted John Shire, I connected him, and I asked some guys over at the Celtics, the scouts, like, what do you do if you have a phenom? Call USA Basketball. So I call USA Basketball.
The rest, as they say, is history. Cooper went on to shine. He was named MVP for Team USA and then helped power Duke into the Final Four, along the way winning a bevy of national honors, including the prestigious Naismith Award, which goes annually to the country's top Division I collegiate player. And Cooper won it as a freshman.
It is really remarkable how they grow and how they carry themselves, and I would have never imagined he's this great, but I would have never put it past him either.
Yeah, it really is just an amazing story, and Brian Scalabrine has been in Cooper's corner for many years now. In fact, he was at the Cross Insurance Arena when Cooper was hoisting a gold ball with the Nokomis Warriors. So just a remarkable story, and it'll all culminate later tonight at the top of the NBA draft. We'll have much more here from the Barclays Center, but for now, Greg, I'll send it back over to you.
Love hearing that story about Scal, Dave. Thanks so much. They're live for us down in New York. Hey, all right, so as the moment gets closer to when we hear Cooper Flagg's name at the draft, we want to take another step back. Remember some of those moments that got him here. That includes his time with Maine United. That was a youth team made up of Cooper, his twin brother Ace, all Maine kids on that team who started playing together actually in about 3rd grade. And just 2 years ago, they took the basketball world by storm, going all the way to essentially the national championship game for their age group as 16-year-olds at the Nike Peach Jam. Now, we recently spoke with Maine basketball legend Andy Bedard, who co-coached that team along with Cooper's mom, Kelly Flagg. He deeply believes that if Cooper stays healthy, he's going to be a regular NBA All-Star.
Think about that. There's like 6 billion people on this planet, and how many get lucky to even make the league, and he has a chance to be one of the best ever. I think it would do him injustice if we tried to cap how good he could be, because it seems like when we say he's going to be this good, he keeps getting better. His relentless motor and his drive and his commitment to work, you can't put a ceiling on.
Now, with all those attributes, it seems like almost a certainty Cooper Flagg's going to be a force in the NBA. Almost feel bad putting all these expectations on him at 18. But by the way, Kendrick Perkins, another former Boston Celtic and a current NBA analyst on a major network, called Cooper a cross between, get this week, Kevin Durant and LeBron James. High praise indeed. Hey, still ahead, Maine, not exactly known as a hotbed for NBA talent, but we do have some hoop history in our state.
You know, it's funny. For so long, you know, I was the only player born in Maine.
Still ahead, the surprising connection between Cooper Flagg and another player from the Pine Tree State.
Okay, doing a live interview. Just give me time cues. Do you want a super? Okay.
Welcome back to our special coverage from Newport to the NBA, the rise of Cooper Flagg as we count down to the draft. Let's check back in with Sam DeCoste. He's live at that Cooper Flagg watch party up in Newport. What's happening there, Sam?
Hi, Greg. We're having a great time. Fans are coming in to watch Cooper Flagg's big moment. And I want to introduce you to Paul Brooks and Paul Brooks Jr. They're here to enjoy Cooper's moment. Now, you were telling me a minute ago that you've watched every Cooper Flagg game at Duke.
I might have missed one or two since he was in the 7th grade.
But this is obviously a big moment, and you're from Maine. How big of a deal is this tonight?
It's a big deal for our area. A lot of people watched him. He's got fans in almost every town in the state.
And of course, he's going to go into the NBA tonight. He's probably going to go to Dallas. Are you going to keep up at that point as well?
Sure, I will. Definitely.
You guys think he's ready for the NBA? He's been ready at Duke. He was great at high school, but this is the next step, obviously. It's the big leagues.
He'll figure it out.
Yeah?
Yeah, Cooper will figure it out. Yeah, I think he's, every time I see him, he seems to get better and better.
And of course, how does he put Newport, Maine on the map? This is a big deal for Maine. Second Mainer of all time to go to the NBA.
Right, you're right about that. Well, everywhere I go now, it's going to Bangor, Skowhegan, it's all Cooper Flagg. And
yeah,
his whole family represents Maine really, really well. Kelly's become quite a star too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much. It's very exciting. The fans are coming in. His big moment's coming, and in about an hour we'll know when Cooper Flagg is in the NBA and who will be playing for. But it's probably going to be Dallas, right, Greg?
Yeah, unless they trade that pick, Sam, it's got to be Dallas, right? Regardless, he is going to go number one. And Sam, we see you're inside there where they're going to have the big screen. And I know it sounds like there's a lot of stuff happening outside there as well. That sounds like a pretty cool event up there in Newport tonight, Sam. Hey, again, we'll be checking back in and streaming on all these watch parties. If you want to see more of what's going on there where Sam is up in Newport or the other watch party happening at Nokomis High School, all of that's happening right now on our website. You can stream them there, WGME.com. So again, our special edition of CBS 13 News at 7. Cooper Flagg and the countdown to the NBA draft. In case you're wondering, Sam sort of just mentioned it a moment ago. When Cooper's drafted just a short time from now, he'll become only the second player born in Maine ever drafted into and playing in the NBA.
You know, it's funny, for so long, you know, I was the only player born in Maine.
Right there, that's Jeff Turner, born in Bangor, the 17th pick of the 1984 NBA draft. And for the record, he was born in Maine, but actually moved away when he was a toddler. Turner went on to win an Olympic gold medal, have a long career in the NBA, including with the Orlando Magic. And in fact, he still lives in the Orlando area, and he saw some of Cooper's games down there at Montverde Academy. He offers this assessment of Cooper.
He's as big as I am, you know, 6'9", 6'10", and his skill set, you know, like the guys my age didn't have that kind of skill set. We were expected to be low post players, you know, we didn't really wander out on the perimeter and handle the ball like he does. So I just think he's got a tremendous upside. He's going to be a star in our league for a long time.
All right, Sam was talking about this a moment ago. Here's a quick list of Maine players in the NBA. We have Jeff Turner, again drafted 41 years ago, and Duncan Robinson, too, there on the right, a current guard with the Miami Heat, who was born in York but grew up mostly in New Hampshire and actually was never drafted into the NBA. He signed as a free agent. Old timers, too, may remember a couple of names, Skip Chappelle of Old Town and Dennis Clark of Winthrop. Both drafted into the NBA in 1962 and 1970, respectively. But in the 11th and 15th rounds, that was when the draft was much, much longer, and they never actually played in the NBA, but were drafted. So still a very short list, even with those asterisks there. Hey, when we come back, we're going to check back in with Dave. Once again, he's live in New York. We'll be checking in with Dave after this. live look there at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Welcome back to our special Cooper Flagg coverage. In less than an hour, Flagg's going to make history, of course, when he's expected to be drafted #1 overall. And we're so excited. In fact, we're literally counting down to the NBA draft. Let's go ahead and send it back out to Dave Ead. Again, he is live there at the draft for us in Brooklyn. What a night for Cooper Flagg and for Maine Day.
You and I have been talking about the draft for quite some time now. I remember going to the Duke BC game with you, and we were talking about this day, June 25th, and Cooper Flagg being taken first overall, and it's going to happen in about a half hour from now when the draft starts. We're going to give you another live look at the bowl, the inside of the Barclays. Now, of course, below the staging, that stage is where Cooper's going to go to, collect his shirt and meet the commissioner. But where you see all those people, those are all family, friends, and players that have their specific tables. And so really an exciting time. And as I mentioned, the fans are arriving as well. It's an electric atmosphere. And in case you were wondering, the last Dallas Maverick taken first overall, you have to go back to 1981. I was still in high school, and it was Mark Aguirre, who turned out to be a pretty good player for the Mavs. Tonight, it'll be Newport's own Cooper Flagg. We'll, of course, have much more on tonight's big night here later tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock. Reporting live from the Barclays Center, I'm CBS 13's Dave Ead. Greg, back over to you.
All right, Dave, great to have you down there. Really appreciate you. Again, yeah, what a night for Cooper Flagg and all the fans here in Maine. One quick anecdote, the Dallas Mavericks sort of let it slip that they're going to take Cooper Flagg #1. They actually leaked it on their social media, on their Facebook page and on their website before they took it back. Obviously, the worst kept secret in NBA basketball. They also say they sold about $8 million in season tickets in the first 3 days after they won the NBA draft lottery. Again, lots more ahead. Thank you for watching the special coverage of Cooper Flagg here at 7. More coverage tonight at 10 and 11.